successful and someone that fails, a lot of it's right here. Okay, the people that don't make it, is they don't know how to manage, or they're not willing to manage. They know how to do it, but they're not willing to do what it takes. Okay, and so lead queue management is extremely critical. So there's a couple of things that everyone's watched the video that that I produced, and it talks a lot about lead management. There's some Velocify videos and TeamViewer. One of the things that the biggest thing that we talk about is the final outcome within 10 days. So for instance, you see here, the lead came in on February 24th. Okay, so that means that on 3/4, there's 8 days or 4 more days left, 5 more days in February. By 3/6, this lead has to either be pre-approved or nurtured. That's the only options you have. That's it. So if you have not reached this customer, then you need to have contact attempt 10, and it goes to nurture prospect, or you contact the person, they don't qualify, or they told you to get lost. Just give me 1 second. So I want to make sure you guys understand this. You have 10 days from the receipt of a lead to either have it in pre-approval status or nurture. That's all you can do. That lead cannot stay here for that long.
But is that from, because that obviously was another person's lead, say Mark Henderson. He gave it to me on the 3rd, and I called it one time. So I didn't even start till the 29th. So
right, no, I'm just saying in theory.
Sean's defense, I did redistribute a few.
Right.
Some of those were from another queue.
No, but I'm not saying you specific. I'm saying in
right,
theory.
but I'm saying when they get transferred to us, is that 10 days to start over, or do you want us? Okay.
Yes, it starts over. No, I already knew that was Mark.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know because if not, then I would have just done it right there.
No,
10 days off. Okay.
No, that's fine.
If you look at it here, it was in Mark's queue for 225, contacted them for 1. And it stayed that way until 3/3 when I reassigned it to Sean. So Mark had it, and that contact person one status for quite a while.
Henderson.
Anyway.
Hold on. I'm just bringing something out. Give me 1 second.
So here's Sean's tips.
What does it say on that? I left a message or something on that?
Yeah,
Left message.
Left message.
Got
Your dialer call. You have 35 seconds, 9 seconds. You call twice. Almost looks like back to back, which is the way you should do it. Looks like maybe you hit voicemail the first time you called again. I'm not sure.
Exactly. I hit voicemail, then I tried again right away.
Do you count both of those, Josh?
No, he just counted as 1 attempt, even though he did it twice.
Okay.
If you're going at it one time, that one, that.
Okay, but I'm printing something out because this is going to correlate to what we're talking about. But so the whole idea is that, okay, when the lead comes in the first day, you have to call it a minimum of 2 times the first day. Usually back to back, right when you get the lead. You cannot wait when a new lead comes in. You have to call it immediately. Okay. And we're going to print out a 10-year study on loan origination. I think I've sent it to you, but I want to talk about it in a little detail. And so, and then you want to obviously call the lead again. So the first day, you really want to call the lead 3 times, and you need to have a final outcome with that lead within 10 days. And so, let's go back to the normal view. So okay, let's scroll down. So you see, like here, the lead came in on 3/1. I don't know if that was this.
This one?
Yeah, was this Mark's lead?
This
This
one,
is
no,
Kevin's.
this was.
Was Kevin's
It
lead?
went to me, then it was re-status. So it wasn't, I didn't, maybe sat in my queue for a minute, went to Sean on 3/4.
Okay. What happens is that the thing that happens is that if you let the lead linger, even an hour after you get it, the probability of conversion starts to decrease rapidly. Okay. So
That was Kevin.
Yeah, I was in Cameron's on 3-1, and he was on the cruise, so we took it out.
Right, okay,
The
that's
system
fine.
redistributed it.
Okay, let's go back to the normal view. So, as you scroll down a little bit more. Go down. Can you, it's the font's too big, can you make it smaller again? Okay. So again, just the same principle applies here. You, like for instance, if you have any of these leads down here, if you got them on the 26th, whatever the date is, you have 10 days to disposition that lead and move it along through the different statuses.
Gotcha.
Okay. So it's very, very important that that you guys follow that. So the other thing is that when you take an application on someone, does he have any app pendings?
Tons.
No, do all statuses, please. All of them.
And how long
Okay, go down.
Okay.
This is last action date, newest to oldest.
For a sports hire, and she's making considerable income, I think you got a solid chance of getting approved for a hire amount of.
Okay, so once you take an application on somebody,
Okay, where are you from, sir? Where are you? Okay.
where are you moving it to?
I don't know, we work.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to see. Okay, so like right here, right, you got this lead on the 2nd, and it looks like the last time that you reached out to him was on the 7th. And after you the first call that you made, if they ask you to call them back for a later date, and you call them again, you have to change that status to contact attempt to whatever that is, 3 or 4.
I don't think you can change
I,
that.
Yeah, you
Three
can.
statuses?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
No, they don't have that ability at the present moment.
Oh, they
I
used to.
didn't think so.
They did before.
Okay.
Well, because it needs to get out of the status then.
Yeah.
Right. So I was
So-
gonna add an action to move it back to contact attempt.
Well, it was like that before.
There's a
So,
reason why I moved it out.
okay.
Beyond, beyond
That, the other thing is, like, for instance, after you've gotten the application, you need to follow up with them for 5 days to get their documents in. If they haven't send their stuff back or responded, then the lead needs to go to nurture. So as soon as if you take an application on them, now you're following up for doc requests, you have to call them back 5 more times. Okay? This is very important that your success, how many loans you fund, is all going to be contingent upon this.
It's only 5 or times 10?
No, this is after you've taken an application.
Yeah. I thought
No,
it was
we expanded it to 10 in Velocify.
Oh,
10 attempts,
Not paying good?
yeah,
Opinion.
before it goes to nurture. Because if we died, there was that 5 before, and I just recently upgraded. But it allows up to 10 attempts with auto contacts.
Okay. Well, can you get those papers I printed over there?
Yeah.
Pass those out. So basically, if it goes up to 10, then you want to follow up with that customer for 10 attempts, and then it's going to go to nurture. Same thing, like I guess here he has an attempt 2. So you want to try and do that as quickly as possible to get the documentation in. And so same thing with pre-approval. After you issue a pre-approval, you have to follow up with that customer, either through Christina or if it's going to be through an outside realtor or their realtor. So how many loans that you end up funding is going to come down to a function of how well you manage this. If you're getting 200 leads a month, you need to be funding at least 6% of that. That's 12 loans. But you're not going to be able to hit that if you're not effectively managing the leads that you get.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've taken an application on someone and you're in application status and now you're in contact attempt, that contact attempt starts over 1 through 10. And if they're not getting back to you, then they need to go to nurture. Okay. And you have preset voicemails that are established. You actually don't leave a voicemail. If anybody's leaving voicemails right now, it's a waste of your breath.
Yep.
You should push a button and that's it. And so you should be able to cruise right through that and allow the system to work itself, so that way you don't have to waste your time. So the other thing is with pre-approved, same thing. You have to work that pipeline too. Once you get someone pre-approved, whether they go with Christina or they go with another realtor, you still need to communicate with them, follow up with them. You know, that's your money, and you have to be able to follow up with them, check in on them, and always have them in your mind. Now, it may be by a text, it may be by an email. Some people have different preferences, and you don't have to do everybody the same. Not everyone's going to be twice a week. Some people, you might have a customer that works better once a week, or he just wants to be text. That's fine, but do some type of communication with them.
Right.
Okay.
We have one natural one for the app. I mean, that's a natural connection. Hey, here's an app. Oh, look, it's like that's one natural one already set up for us.
Yeah, and that's an awesome thing to use. So, this study is actually very powerful, very interesting. It's a 10-year study on loan origination from June 2005 to June 2015. And I just want to go over with you to make sure you guys understand. So this is the case study number 1. This was calling leads. So this is a loan officer that called leads, a lead that came in 3 times, 5 times, 8 times, and 10 times. So this is meaning that he got his 200 leads, and he only called that set of leads 3 times, 5 times, 8 times, and 10 times. And then to the right of that, it's how many applications he took. So when he called his leads only 3 times, he took 23 apps. When he called his leads 8 times, he took 57 apps. And so when he called his leads 10 times, he took 58 apps. Okay? From those applications is going to stem everything else. So in our business, you have to understand that it's one triggers the other. You're not going to get to the $1 million or $2 million in fundings if this in the beginning is not set up right. If you don't take 58 applications, you can't get to the bottom. It's impossible. That's where it all comes from. And so, and then the same thing with case study 2, and app pending. He called. This is where your pre-approvals come from. He called the bunch only 1 time, 3 times, 5 times, and 8 times. And then in case study 3, he called his pre-approved 1 time, 3 times, 5 times, and 8 times. And then if you look to that, it shows how many loans he closed and how much his paycheck was. And so what are the takeaways? You follow the system and you master the fundamentals. You take a mechanical and probabilistic approach to the business to be successful. So one of the things that I thought was interesting is that if you look at in case study 1, it almost didn't really make sense to go to the 10th call, because there wasn't as much benefit after the 8th call, because you have to factor in time. And so the study shows that the 8th call was optimal to me, because that yielded per time the most applications. And in case study 2, app pending, I guess it doesn't make sense we went to 10, because in app pending you got 5 more pre-approvals when you jump from 5 attempts to 8 attempts. So that's very interesting. And then when the pre-approved, that's critical too, following up with them, because when they went from 5 to 8, he closed 4 more loans.
4,000 more dollars.
Yeah, and these sound like they're small loans. So, anyway, so this is I want to make sure if you guys don't understand this, then we can't go to the next step. You have to really embed this in your mind. So who has questions or confusion about how this?
I had a real quick functionality question.
Yeah.
The date added, is that something that we can have, or is that admin only function?
No, we took it off because we noticed that a loan officer would look at that date, and if it sat there, if they had it in their queue for a few days, they would stop trying. And so this is like, even if it was a brand new lead for them, and they saw that they were on contact attempt 2 or 3, then they would rather just, I'm going to deal with the newest leads that came in. And so it's, even though you can kind of track it, you can still kind of track it.
Action logs.
Yeah, you can, but it's not, and that
Hey,
there should show no discrimination.
I got you.
But anyway,
Okay.
this is the app pending here for.
Do you have your thing?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I try to track mine better, like by the actual date, last action date anyway. So that's probably what you're shooting for, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're focused on taking the action rather than the lead. So.
Okay. And then the other page I have here is just one thing that's really cool about Ray Allen that he talks about that to mastery. It's 10,000 hours. So if you want to become a master at something, you need to put 10,000 hours into it. That's his mantra. So this is the formula right here. This is the recipe. If you want to make 150,000 a year, you're on the phone for 6 hours a day, generating new business, minimum 5 apps a day. Final outcome within 10 days. Convert every viable loan. Issue a minimum 2 pre-approvals per day. Build a pre-approved pipe to 100 plus, and work the death out of it. And if you submit 3 loans to processing per week, you'll fund over 10 loans a month. This is a very simple formula, but it takes your action, your energy, your drive to do this. Okay, it's not me that's doing it. We provide the platform, but you guys have to actually execute. And so people are doing it all the time. People have done it, so this is not something that's mythical, but you have to follow through. So I just want to make sure that you guys see the flow on how it works. So who's got questions? Who's confused? Who doesn't know what I'm talking about?
So case study 2, this would be app pending. These are apps that are pending documentation.
Right.
Okay.
If you take a look, I got the app pending here up for Sean. He's got app pending attempt 1.
So what does this mean? This means he talked to the customer, and he basically gave him the pitch. The customer was, yeah, I'm interested. I need to get some documents from you. So he moves it to application status. So he hasn't moved forward with pre-approval yet because he needs those documents. Mm-hmm. So he's going to continue to follow up with that borrower to get those documents in, so he can issue the pre-approval. So there's a whole other phase that some customers they drag their feet with getting their stuff in, and some stuff send their stuff in immediately. And the thing is that what this is saying that in the application phase, you've already talked to the customer, there's been engagement, but they haven't committed yet. So and to follow up with them, the 8 times here turned into 27 pre-approvals. So like look at it when you did 3 times for app pending, you only had 11 pre-approvals. So when he called 5 more times, it went up by 150% in his pre-approval rate. That's massive. That's I mean that's it's all right there. And if you look at from the pre-approved, when he called 3 times on pre-approved versus 8, his income increased by about 110%, from 6,100 to 13,200.
What do you think the frequency should be for? I know that we contact attempts to lead. We do that every day, 2 or 3 times a day. But should we do the same frequency on app pending? Or should it be every day?
That's okay. That's the thing that's the final thing I want to talk about. When you come in the day, the first thing you hit is your new leads. New leads are always first. Okay. Then contact attempts, then app pending, and then pre-approved. You always work that sequence. If you're not going through your whole queue every day, you're not doing your job here. You need to go through the whole queue every single day.
App pending?
And the whole thing. The whole thing every day. Every day. Well, that's why I just said you come in, you call your new leads first, then you go through all your contact attempts, then you go through your app pending, then you go through your pre-approved. You should be able to get that done within lunchtime, and then do it again at night.
What if you're talking to them though?
What do you mean?
For me, like I just see I'm having trouble with the time aspect of it. Like that's all I'm doing is I'm I'm not like picking my nose, and I'm still.
I think it's because there was a lot of leads and a lot of mine are, the contact attempts starting to come off now, and my queue's getting smaller. Because that couple of weeks, it was me, David, and Damon, and we were just getting a whole lot of leads, and so we have more than I think normally people would have in the queue. I think that's why he's having the issues now. I was having the same thing. I finally got caught up, like, yesterday.
I took like 30 leads out of your queue.
I know you did, and it's still like, I mean, between getting in touch with people and following up with people, and like, following the system, which I really try to do.
Yeah.
That's how I have how I have ordered.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
See,
like
if you
said.
go in the priority view, it already does that for you in the priority view.
Right.
Yeah.
And it sets it up. We set a workflow for you.
Yeah.
There's two views in Velocify, normal view and priority view. In priority view, we're actually working on customizing it for an AM and PM. So basically, it's going to put all of your new leads in first order when they pop up, and then contact them for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Then app pending would be next or whatever. But app pending, we had the schedule that we're trying to build out is on a 3 days a week is what I was doing. That's because what's happening here with this, whenever you're this here, what that we have it built out is that this app pending 1, you need to keep pushing it forward. So this should be an app pending 2 or 3 by now. And so when this moves along, then they're getting a text and an email notification from the system. All you do is calling them, and it's automatically sending them an email and text. Hey, where's your docs? An email the next day. When you go to the next app pending attempt, hey, where's your docs? So they're getting this voicemail or call, and then they're getting a text, and then they're getting an email. If they sit in this status here, they don't get anything. There's no notification at all. It has to be moved to app pending. So you have to go to docs requested, and Velocify can move it to this status so that it keeps pushing and putting the pressure on the borrower to get you what you need. Sabe? Okay.
Like I noticed that once I put in the application, that one there I must have overlooked the Holly Tourniquets 3.7. But what I like to do is usually in the mornings is when you're getting those, okay, they're going to be sending docs in, and then that afternoon I like to do it again and then put them under docs pending, because that sends them a text message reminding them again, hey, we're looking for your docs, kind of thing. So it gives them a follow up.
When it's in application status, you have the option to take an action that says docs requested.
Docs requested. There you go. Yeah.
So what I do is I say, hey, look, I'm going to send you an email. It's going to have a list of docs, and then when I send out that email, I go into Velocify and put docs requested. So in the text it says, hey, check your email for a complete list of the documents I sent over to you. So that way they can cross-reference it. But I do it as soon as I send the email so I don't forget.
Well, okay, yes, I was doing it a little later just so if they don't send it to me with that 4 hour, they're getting that text giving it, hey, listen, you never sent me this.
The other thing, though, going back to what David said, you should really be on even a good loan. I know you're new and it's fine and you're going to be learning, but once you get into it, you shouldn't really be on that call more than 15, 20 minutes. In the beginning, you're learning, you're talking. I understand you're getting stuff done, but if the calls are taking an hour, it's too long. Because you have to look at this. For me, how I've always approached the business is that it's all random. You have no idea what's going to close. Just throw as much as you can in the pipeline. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right. But one thing I realized too, and I've just started, but like I don't even have a pipeline like where I think I'm going to get eventually. But like once you have all these clients, they're calling you throughout the day.
Yeah.
You're getting like 10 different calls at least from clients that you're already
That's
working
beautiful.
with. But then you're making calls, and then you got sales queue going. I mean,
Yeah,
so
I know.
I'm picking it all up, and I'm not overwhelmed. I love it. I love to be busy all throughout the day. But what I'm saying is, to get through everything, I don't know. I know for sure I need to work on my time on the phone. That's for sure. I know I need to get through stuff a lot quicker, with following up with them and just getting through the conversation and stuff, getting to the sweet stuff and just hanging up the phone. But I think that's where I'm at right now, and I still have a lot of backed up people that are like, hey, can you finish up my app from February? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm working on you guys, and they're calling, you know what I mean? And it's, I don't know, it's a lot right now. Like I said, I'm not overwhelmed. I like it. I just want to let y'all know that I'm not just not wanting to call these people. I want to call everybody. I want to get new contacts every day. It just seems like it's crazy. Like it's a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, but that's the whole thing. If you want to make 20 grand a month, you're gonna have to go through it.
Yeah, no.
You know,
I'm all for it.
I don't know how else to. I mean, I did it for 10 years.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
so you know.
But I really do think that that's the case, because like I said, I just caught up yesterday from a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
because I literally have 4 times as many leads in my queue right now as I did, a month into it with Supreme. And that's just because we shrunk loan officer size wise, and now we're starting to expand back, and we're able to start catching up with it. And I've noticed my queue shrinking as those contact tends to start falling off and what have you.
Right.
So I mean, David, I think that's what.
Well, you've probably noticed that, and we talked about that. We've also adjusted your lead quantity. That has come down since you first started.
Yeah.
So to help you get caught up. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's again, it's Saturday night at the restaurant. If you want that kind of money, you're gonna have to deal with that. I mean, that's part of the business. And so, if you just want to make $2,000 a month and just talk to one customer, 2 customers, and so, but you guys sign up for making 6 figures, and that's what it's gonna take. And so, and this is the best way on how to navigate through it. But you've got to get through your queue every day. The new people that are calling you back, they're gonna leave a message, and you're gonna call them back. What'll happen is how it works is you have to have the mental discipline to get through that queue in the morning, and then write down all the people that called you while you were originating, and you're going to call them back after you're done at 12 o'clock. You do not stop originating new business. You do not follow up with any previous customers until you're done originating new business. New business always comes first before previous business. You don't know what's going to happen with these loans. You don't know. You think you have a loan and then it dies. Okay, so you always have to get as much as you can in.
Yeah, I think I get kind of bad experiences, I guess, because I've been dealing with some of these people that they were good, but I basically put them on hold for a long time, and I call them back and they're like, hey, I already got.
Well, that's the thing is that that's my whole point is that you want to originate as much as you can, get as much as you can in. And, that's the focus, and so that's why you have to do that every single day. Is generate new business and then work on your other business. Return those calls, issue those pre-approvals, and follow up. But always, how I would always do it is in the morning, new business. Everyone, don't come bother me. Get out of my face. I'm talking around to a new business. Okay, and so you have to be like that. You can't have. No, I don't want my wife. I don't want even him coming to me. I'm generating new business right now. You have to be like you can't close $2 million a month unless you have 5 to 10 million in the pipeline. There's no way it's going to happen. If you're sitting over here talking to a guy for 30 minutes about something, he's a pre-approved guy from 6 months ago, you're wasting your time. Send that to Christina, let her deal with it. I'm just telling you right now that every day, how are you going to close $2 million a month if you're not talking new business every day? How are you going to do it? Now, you have to follow this recipe. It's extremely, extremely important.
You also set set good expectations with your customers, so they're calling you at the right time of day, or letting them know that, hey, the best way to reach me is by email. If you can't reach me on the phone, send me a quick email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So that way, they're not, you're not blowing up your phones as much, because that will slow you down. And another thing that you can do, if you get in here earlier, I know your schedule is a later day, and that's okay. But if you get in, take the first 20, 30 minutes and maybe email those customers, say, hey, look, just want to let you know, hey, we don't have an update on your deal yet, and knock those out. They won't bother you throughout the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. So if you knock those out earlier in the day, or even the night before, throughout the rest of that day or the rest of the week, you're controlling it rather than being reactive and them controlling you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. You've got to be in control of the day, and setting the right expectation, like we talked about earlier, what Josh was saying. So you let the customer, hey man, from 9 to 12, I'm writing new business. So just shoot me a text or an email, and I'll call you back. It doesn't mean I don't love you, but I'm over here doing new business, and I have to do this. This is how my job works. It's kind of like, if some people, they're in a factory, they can't talk between these hours. That's how it is over here with me. And so, where we see loan officers fail is they know that there's new leads. They know that they're supposed to originate new business, and they're looking at an appraisal on a deal that's went sour, and spending 30 minutes looking at the comps. Who cares? Let them deal with it. Okay, you need to be on the phone and doing new business. Allocation of time is going to determine everything about your income. That's one of the biggest things I see is that people that fail from the loan origination standpoint, they're not conscious of how they're allocating their time. You have to be extremely deliberate and be a time miser. It has to be very, very calculated with your time. You just can't be lofting all over the place, being swung back by each borrower and this and that. And so it has to be very structured. Otherwise, you're not going to hit those big numbers. And and so I want to make sure that you guys understand what we're talking about here. And again, if you're new, of course you're not going to be able to do that quickly, but you're going to get there inevitably. You're going through these things. You need to go through these things to get there. You have to go through these mental stretches, these barriers to get to that further point. So very soon you'll be able to identify a deal in 5 minutes. You don't need 3 hours to look at something. You're getting there. This is part of you're on the right path.
Yeah.
You're making progress. You're making very good progress. And so, but watch your time. If you see 15 minutes, the meter's running. We gotta wrap this up, guys.
Yeah.
If it's a marginal deal, and if you pull the credit and it's an app and they're calling you off the hook,
Yeah.
you need to let them know, hey, look, you need to know that where they stand credit-wise, that they don't really have a leg to stand on, right? That's like, they'll take whatever you give them. So if you're willing to work with those deals, big loan amounts or whatever, and they have marginal credit, say, look, it's going to take a little longer for me to get back to you. I said I was going to get an update today, but it's probably going to be like Friday or Saturday.
Mhm.
So just, lay off me basically for the next 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah. So, even your good loans. If you can follow the script, and that's what I want you guys to work on today. If you haven't already, is make sure you get that done. Just being very effective with the delivery, and but I want to make sure that you guys understand this, that it's ingrained. The people that have made a lot of money in the company, they follow this to a T. The people that failed, they didn't know their head from their ass, and so they couldn't figure it out, or they didn't want to. They were too lazy. And so if you follow it, it's very simple to do. And we can make it as big as you want or as small as you want, as long as you're funding $1 million or more a month. I'm cool with it. You don't have to, own the world, but you'll be happy with making $10,000 a month, and I'll be happy too if you fund $1 million. But you have to follow this sequence, guys. It's very, very important. And so and I promise you, if you do, and some of you have already seen the results, you're starting to get pre-approvals in, it's starting to go. You're using the script that I've shown you. It's all starting to come together. I can see some of you guys, the way you're talking to people, the way things are happening. I can see from your numbers that it's starting to come together. Okay. So is anyone confused about anything? Anyone have any questions or trying to see how the math works or why we do it this way or doesn't agree? Or I got to make sure you guys get this if we're going to go the next step.
Just to go full running. I think a lot of the guys at first, the training, takes a lot of the time as well. So
Sure.
To get going full go, it feels like some of the times, I'm taking an hour out and I'm like, oh, I could be on the phones, but needed. So when I do get going full, it's going to help a lot because I think the training is needed. So
yeah. Oh, you need it. Yeah, absolutely. Right now, obviously you're new. You're training. So you need to invest that time in your mind to learn. Because otherwise, how are you going to be able to identify something?
Right.
You won't be able to and that's the thing is that if you don't like study that the hacks, or if you don't study how to do effective script delivery, then you're going to miss out on the stuff that's being presented in front of you.
Right.
It's being presented in front of you every single moment, and you don't know what you're looking at because you don't know. So
and I think there's a lot of automated stuff that we could do. You're giving us a lot of automated stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that like the emails and stuff. You can do a template email. It's 2 clicks, and so there's a lot of automated stuff to help that I don't think everyone's taking advantage of. The voicemails, of course. I'm just learning how to do the voicemails. I've been the first week I was talking to them, and it took all my time. 30 seconds a piece All I gotta do now is click a button. So automation's really good with
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of things, like even set up your email signature with the LinkedIn and the Facebook, because in our business it's all about trust. It's all these little tiny things that are going to add up, you know. And so and that's the thing. You have to. The biggest thing here, guys, is taking action. You see, Kevin, even though he's moving, he got his email signature done yesterday. He's always the first one to get something done. That's why he's so successful. He just does it. He doesn't question it. He doesn't think about it. He just does it. And you have to take massive action if you're going to be successful. You know, as soon as you see a good idea, you hop all over it. That's what makes the difference. Everyone else.
I mean, it seems so simple, but it's actually so rare to find in someone. And Kevin is, like you said, a great example of somebody that, he believed in it and did it. He just did it. And it's not often that you see someone when they read something or whatever that if they believe in it, they do it. A lot of people are very skeptical. Like, this isn't really going to happen. There's that doubt. But with him, the way he approached it, he didn't have that doubt. And I think that's what helped propel him, very quickly, is that he just believed and made it happen, and tested to see if these results could actually be, could actually happen. You talk to him about it. I mean, he preaches about the same thing Angel's talking about right now. It's so simple. It's like getting up and going to work out, whatever you guys do every day. So simple, but how many people don't do it?
No. I mean, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, it's about taking action. You've got to take action and do it. I mean, that's, so I mean, this is it's really a no-brainer platform. And so, but Josh is 100% correct. You have to believe. We've worked with loan officers that didn't believe, and the same deal was presented in front of them, and they didn't see a loan there. They denied it, and it went to the person next to them, and they took it. It's the craziest thing. You'll see it here even today. I mean, it's happened. It happens. And so one person doesn't see the loan, the other person sitting next to him sees the loan and makes it. It's crazy. It shouldn't be like that, because how could McDonald's become a multi-billion-dollar company if you had the Big Mac over here and had one over there? It was a completely different experience. So that's why we're working on the train, so that way you all can identify a loan and know how to turn it into something and see the opportunity. For instance, Fernando had that $500,000. This is a little example. The $500,000 California loan. The dad has 640 credit score, makes $2,000 a month. The son has no score, right? No score. But he makes $7,000 a month. And I promise you that 95% of the loan officers that see that would just piss all over that. What am I going to do? This guy has no score,
right?
And so I see the opportunity. And that's our goal, and we're going to add the dad as an authorized user to the son to get a score up.
If you spend an extra 10, 15 minutes, you might make an extra $5,000. It's down the road, that's going to pay off. You're going to have that stuff trickle in over your career, and you just have like money just falling in your lap. You're like, here, these loans are coming out of the fucking sky.
Yeah. So, but you have to be able to see it and be able to just follow the system, man, and you're going to do very well. And so, but anyway, I want to have this talk because I want to make sure that lead queue management is the hallmark of your success. And so, I can't stress it enough. I mean, so yeah. Any other questions or thoughts, or I'll let you guys get back to what you're doing. So. So, have you guys already, or when are you guys going to be doing the role play?
Alex said that she'd be available late
What
afternoon.
are you doing with Mark?
I can do the role play with
So
anybody.
I'm about to call her.
Whoever wants to do it.
Okay. Just if you want to get with Mark, or he might be busy, or get with Josh, or do it with somebody, or
Okay.
whoever you want to. But I want to make sure you're doing that every single day.
Okay.
Until it becomes ingrained in you, it's a habit that you're very comfortable with the delivery. So, okay.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but